I know I struggle sometimes when I'm trying to get things done. I'm easily distracted. I'm focused. I'm locked in. The next thing you know, it's like squirrel. Oh, over here, I'm distracted. So, dude, what are some of the things that you found are effective for you to, keep track of all the things that you have to do to minimize your distractions?
Well, the first thing I think, Frankie, is you got to break things down in parts, right? We have these thoughts, we have these ideas, we have this vision about where we want to go. And, it's not always going to be a, 0 to 60 second move, right? It's going to take some time. There's a process. And so, the old adage of, you can't eat an elephant all at one time, or you can't eat a cow all at one time. And, you got to take one bite at a time.
Yeah.
And so you've got to break down the challenge into manageable segments, right? And so I think that's important to recognize that although we want to move at the speed of sound, we're not always going to reach our end goal in the time that we sometimes that we want to. It's not to say that we won't meet our end goal, and it's not to say that we won't meet our end goal quickly. But in some situations, it may just take a little time, and we have to have that. We have to have that planning. So I think breaking it down into manageable segments is really important. And I just challenge our audience to consider that, right? It's not that you're not going to reach your goal. It's just that you're going to have a very thought out plan as to how you're going to reach it, right? And so, if let's say you're coming off of, a layoff, right? Or you're getting a new job because, whatever happened to the last one, you're all excited, you're all pumped up, right? Maybe you want to make a good impression. But you do have to have that pause to identify that direction, that pause to assess the situation, and then get into your shift and your execution mode. So,
yeah, absolutely. And the breaking that work down into smaller pieces has impact in a lot of different ways. One, yes, we can't eat that cow all in one bite. Secondly, it helps give us smaller wins. Everybody, I think everybody, at least I know I do. I envision I want to step up to the plate and I want to hit a grand slam every time I'm at bat. Every time I'm trying to do something, I just want to knock it out of the park. But we know in reality, that's not, how things really statistically happens. It's the victory really comes, you get a nice string of consistent base hits and, that moves you around and you win the game. So get these smaller wins helps you to build momentum. If we try to have our work in too big of a chunk as we're trying to, make this shift, if the work segment is too big, it becomes overwhelming. It delays the gratification of being able to say, yeah, I got this piece done. I'm making progress towards the goal. Whereas if it's this huge thing, it could be months before I get this one huge chunk of stuff done before I get that gratification of knowing I'm moving forward.